We're back. Hope y'all got your drink.
We back. This is Manhood Mindset, WVGS 91.9 The Buzz.
You already know, man. Manhood Mindset, Zany Zoo Radio, man. Thank y'all so much for supporting. Today we've been talking about privilege so far and trying to make sure we don't save the world, privilege and responsibility. And right now we're about to go into our second topic. But before we do that, we got a special guest in the house, man. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to the people?
What's up, you guys? My name Will. They call me AK the Don in my entertainment group. You know, it's good incorporated in the building. We here to speak the truth and let the word be known. How you doing today?
That's what's up, man. That's cool, man. Hold on, you got experience with radio?
Oh, yeah.
That's what's up.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
I'm just like what's up, man? You like, I'm sorry, this is my 8th year doing this. I forgot to tell you. So, that was natural, bro. So, yeah. Man, thank you so much for coming by. I know it was like, it was a pleasant surprise, man. I know it was like after school and all that. So thank you for putting us in your schedule and your time and all of that.
Oh, no problem. I'm always trying to give back.
Most definitely, man. So tell the people a little bit about you. Who are you and what do you rock with? Anything.
All right. Well, I'm first talk about myself. I'm from College Park. Born in the South Side, raised.
Southside, stand up.
Grandma raised me. You know, I did what I could to make it out.
Yes,
I learned from all my mistakes. You know, like I'm a type of person that go through life and learn from everything that I come from because I don't let my mistakes define me. I let how I handle my mistakes that define me. I like to be a man of my word and I like to handle my business first.
That's real, dog. That's real.
I'm the CEO of Good Incorporated, not Entertainment. We had to switch it up on there, kick a little flavor for the borough, give some, because they think the way we do things, you know what I mean by we.
Yeah.
They think the way we do things, we do it kind of in ruck and amok, so we have to show them that we about our business and always classy too with it.
Okay. And more importantly, showing yourselves.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So, with the transition, what are some things that you kind of learned along the way of that transition?
As far as myself or the entertainment?
Both.
All right. As far as myself, I learned life is all about making mistakes. Like, everything you doing is an experience. Life is the perception of how you see it.
Okay.
It's all about how you see it because one person may see it this way and one person may see it that way, but at the end of the day, it's all about how you take it and cope with it and how you make it something where you can value life.
Got you.
As well as my entertainment group, we wanted to bring a little flavor, bring a little different. We wanted to be more about business because it was a lot of bad notations when it came to entertainment group. So we wanted to show them that we're more than just an entertainment group. We wanted to be something that can give back to the community, also help the community, also be something positive around the community.
A lot of people got a lot of assumptions about entertainment.
Exactly.
The word itself, people like, no, it's just entertainment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would say, I guess you kind of hinted on it, but kind of elaborate a little bit about what are the misconceptions of entertainment groups? Because a lot of these are students who are enrolled in colleges and really just really busting their tails in the classroom, but yet they want to, help people relax and not be stressed out all the time.
Exactly.
So, kind of elaborate on that.
All right. Well, so what I mean by, first of all, we wanted to take away from entertainment because with entertainment, y'all know the past, Lawless, Good, certified back way back. I can go even back with history if y'all even know, but a lot of y'all know about the promo teams and what we could do, and most of the main thing when y'all think about promo teams is party,
right?
And it's all good, but there's a time and a place for everything,
right.
And when we're not partying, we do have school, we have a life to live.
Oh yeah.
So we all have a reasons of why we're in college, and when the main point is to accomplish those goals. And my main thing with my group is to create a home for people to know that they got a place where they can set aside from school, have friends and family that they can react and just find like a safe haven to be around people that they know that they're comfortable with. The reason why we changed it up from entertainment to incorporation because we had more to offer than just parties.
Right.
One thing about school is I know when I came to school, the main goal or what really influenced me was networking. And that's what I wanted my organization to be mainly about, networking. So we changed it to incorporation because we wanted to let people know that this is a place where you can network.
Right.
Network first. When we come to school, it's not about, they say that you come to school to get your degree and then you move on with your life. But I feel like it's not about what you know, it's who you know.
Right.
And so with that philosophy, I feel like if we build a network that no matter what you choose, no matter what the people in my group chooses, they'll have a role to take once they leave. They'll have a network or a connection that they may need to keep going on with their career path of their choosing.
Gotcha. Now you said something very, very important, that safe haven, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, as a lot of people talk about, you know, a lot of people use the term safe haven, safe space, camaraderie, things of that nature. Why do you think it's so important for some people to have that safe space in a college environment? And first of all, I want you to define safe space.
All right.
And then I want you to tell us why it's important.
Well, in my definition, I feel like a safe space is freedom. And basically what I mean
so you
by
provide freedom for some people.
Exactly.
Okay, I respect that. Go ahead.
So what I feel is like when we come to a school, especially at a PWI, we're at a PWI.
Right, and people don't know that that's predominantly white institution. Go ahead.
We're at a PWI, and the majority are whites, and the minorities, we are the minorities.
Right.
With that being said, a lot of us are not always as comfortable being around PWI because that's not probably where they came from or grew up around. Right. As well, there are some that have grew up around, so they know how to, but they lack that surrounding feeling of being around predominantly blacks. So I'm trying to give both parties an opportunity to see both sides of the spectrum and understand both views of the world that we live in.
Okay. And how would you suggest someone who's minority or black or Latino or Asian American or Native American, how would you suggest they get more comfortable at a PWI?
The best way to get comfortable, in my opinion, is just you have to come with an open mind and be understanding.
Okay, open mind.
You have to come open minded. And the reason why I say that is because if you come with a chip on your shoulder of how you feel something is going to be, right, then that's what you're going to that's what perception you're going to receive when you look at things. But if you come with an open mind, trying to understand people, then you're going to have endless options to understanding of why someone may have done something or why someone does the things that they do.
True that.
So I feel like it's just the perception wise of how you see something and how you feel that, all right, if I come into a PWI and I give these people that I've not been around a chance to understand me, and not just understand me, but me understand them and understand why they do the things they do, I feel like we can get somewhere. Because that's the goal, get somewhere. Because we may not get to the finish line today, but if we get somewhere, we're one step closer to the finish line. Right. And that's the main goal right there.
I think a lot of people too, and I talked to a lot of alumni as well. A lot of them, especially me, I went to school at the CAB, so my whole high school was over 95% black. You know what I mean? And a lot of people went to mostly African American and / minority high schools, right? So when I came to PWI, it was okay. You know what I mean? Like it was one of those things. It was
a game changer. Right? Like, okay, I'm here.
Yeah, and not only that, but let's keep it real. You've heard the horror stories of people's experiences at predominantly white institutions, to being a minority. You know what I mean? So
don't drink their drinks.
Right. You know what I'm saying? You heard all type of stuff, exactly. Right? So when you come here, some people may put that, I'm not going to fail here because I heard people fail here. You know what I mean? So they exert themselves and try to take too many hours to prove they're good enough to be here. Or some people get intimidated. You know what I mean? Or some people just, come and think somebody's already out to get them. So they bring that energy into that new environment with them, right? And I'm not saying that energy ain't there. You know what I mean? Yeah. But sometimes when you bring that unsureness, you know what I mean, or that academic insecurity with you, and you can play it out without even noticing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
I know exactly what you mean.
So it's going to be quite important. If you got any, if some students may be listening, you may have a student that's at a HBCU right now who's about to graduate but want to go to grad school at a PWI, and still hearing some of the things and wondering what's going on, especially the climate of our country. You know how politically charged it is right now. So some people are like, you know what, man, I might just need to stay at HBCU right now. You know what I mean? I don't know exactly how people are, how they act. You know, I don't know what people's minds at. And so we talk about that, man. It's uncomfortable to talk about, but
I mean, it got to be said though, because I feel like with a life like the world that we live in today, I feel like it's a must, especially as us black people. It's a must for us to get out there and see what's out there in the world.
Exactly.
Like, we must leave our environment just to understand the world outside us, because we can't look at the TV and and then when the news come on, they tell us we can't rely on the TV all the time.
Exactly.
And that's going to be our destruction. I feel like we need to get out there and see what's going on, especially if you have been in an HBCU or you've been in a predominantly black setting. It's time for you to look on the other side, because 9 times out of 10, that's who you're working with.
And you know what's funny? I think the word integration is confusing to a lot of people. I think, and it is confusing to me because a lot of people really don't have a clear definition of what it means, right?
Yeah.
The world itself is integrated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sometimes we can get caught up in our world, in my opinion, I think as many people are on the earth, on the planet, that's how many worlds exist. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
And so, it depends on how you perceive everything around you and what energy you decide to put out. That's the world. Yeah, that's what type of world you're going to create, right? So if you come out there and saying nobody's for me, everybody hates me because this is that and the other, that energy you're going to carry around with you.
And that's what you're going to see.
And a lot of it, not only that, the universe, everything rotates in the universe. And so if you shoot that shot of negativity, saying some things, you just attract. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not one of those people that's saying that it's your fault because people do negative things to you. I ain't riding that train. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But just in case of people listening, like, hold on, you talking? No. What I'm saying is, if you got negative energy out in the world, one thing I will say is negative energy does not need any help
at all.
You know what I'm saying? Oppression, any type of ism that's out there that dehumanizes people and depresses people, any type of ism, I don't care what it is.
I already know it.
It don't need any help. You know what I mean?
Right.
I listen to a lot of a lot of scholars, period, man, and a lot of comedians, and a lot of people don't understand how much of a genius comedians are because that's
their job. They have to tell what the world they see.
I think they're the most honest news reporters on the planet.
They are.
Yeah, they're the news reporters that we really need to talk about. Yeah,
that's why we can relate to them so much.
Exactly.
That's what makes the jokes funny.
Exactly,
we can relate to what they're saying because they're telling us what we see.
Exactly. That's why I love the craft so much, man. It's a very honest art form that does not have should not have a supervisor. You know what I mean? It doesn't have an editor. You know what I mean? That commentation, and you can put your spin on it and laugh at it.
Exactly.
Especially when it's detrimental or when it's catastrophic. That's I'm for real, man. That is a very important gift to have to make what's not funny laughable. You know what I mean? And I believe that laughter is a key to the mind. I think anytime when someone is laughing, their ability to listen increases dramatically. Because if you're laughing or you hear someone else laugh, you're trying to find out if you can hear something else that's going to make you laugh.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You got the attention.
Right. Yeah. And that's why I'll tell you one thing, man. If you want anybody to listen, man, put a comedian up there and tell them to teach.
Hey, that's
you
real.
know what I mean?
That's real.
Even when I taught my class, man, we want to start off with some type of comedy, man.
That's probably why we losing too many comedians because they preaching out there now. It's like dwindled.
Yeah, man.
We went from Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy,
yeah, man,
all the greats, Chris Rock, all of them, and now we dwindling to just Kevin Hart.
Yeah, well,
hopefully Jay Farrell come out.
and I'm telling you this too, just the game in itself, man, because not only is the art form, but creation and science, man. When somebody wants to make money off creation, creation was here before money ever existed.
Exactly.
And so sometimes when people focus in on the money, it depends on who's going to get that spotlight. It's millions of comedians out there that are not, I guess, quote unquote, marketable to the mainstream media, but they are mashing the art.
Could it be like they are actually capable to the media, but it's what they say that the media is scared of?
That's my point.
Right there.
Like they're not marketable.
Yeah,
what I'm saying? It's like they're some of the, like it's almost like how some people say Jordan is the best basketball player that we know of. The dude that was not the dude that was 10 times better than Jordan probably didn't have the grades.
Exactly. Or in jail.
He didn't have the access to the spotlight. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it's so many different, and right now, and piece of Kevin Hart, man. Kevin Hart is beasting the game. You know what I mean? I'm a fan of Kevin Hart, but I have, I've been practicing comedy for 10 years, and there are other things that come into play besides you making people laugh.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Because like once you got that power, what you gonna do with it?
Exactly. You know what I mean? And so, and I applaud him too because he's bringing a lot of people on. He's sharing the wealth, and he's very knowledgeable about the game itself. He studied the greats. You know what I mean? And so, as a comedian, how you see someone perform your art form that you respect so much, you can't enjoy it. You critique it first, and then you go back and look at it for the enjoyment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly what's your art form? What kind of art form do you express?
I mean, I'm a straight up guy, so it's like I wouldn't say I'm a comedian because it comes from my background. Like the only comedian standpoint I probably have is Jonah, and that's just keeping it straight.
Oh, well, that's called Clayton and DeKalb County survival.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you don't Joan, you gonna go home early every day for fighting.
Like, but as far as like my talent or whatnot, I feel like I'm unlimited because who's to say that I'm limited to what I can't do?
Got you. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to like poetry or anything, I can write something that make you think.
Right.
When it comes to like athletic wear, when I get down in the gym, I'm another man.
Got you.
So it's like who's to say what I'm not good at?
That's real.
It's only me.
We tell people all the time on this show, man, if they didn't create you, if they weren't there when you were born, they can't tell you what to do while you're here.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so that's the reason why we got to be very careful of who we listen to, who have no idea what we're capable of. Now, a lot of people we listen to, they know very well what they're capable of, and sometimes they try to push it upon you.
Exactly.
So have you ever had somebody try to coach you with their fear?
Oh, all the time.
All the time. How is that? How do you break through that, man? How do you break through that?
The best way you break through it is once you have to ask yourself, first of all, is this what you want? Mm-hmm. Second, you have to ask yourself, is what they're pressuring you positive or negative with you?
Okay.
Because once you can dictate whether it's positive or negative, if it's positive, you're going to keep going. First of all, you're going to push through anyway if this is what you really want.
True that.
But if it's negative, sometimes you got to step back and ask yourself, like, is this person that's saying that he's claims that they're trying to help me, are they really looking at my best interest?
Right.
And it's just like I said, like we've been talking about all day, perception. It's just like you have to like ask yourself, is what you're trying to do what you really want? Because if it is, you're going to make it work regardless.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to get into our next topic. So we got to know you a little bit. Thank you for so much for sharing that information. Now we're going to talk about the road you took to get where you're at right now. And, you know, a lot of people, and I'm not going to assume because we try not to assume on this show, did you attend public school growing up, like kindergarten all the way through 12?
Yeah,
all right.
I did.
You know, some people have homeschooled, so, you know, you don't want to just throw that out there, right? So you did go to a public schooling, right? Correct?
All the way.
All right. So we're talking about the school to prison pipeline today,
okay.
Right? So when you hear that phrase, what comes to mind? School to prison pipeline.
Black people. Black men.
Straight up. Okay.
Like I just look at it like, what environment do we live in, and does it enable us for success or does it enable us for destruction? And what I mean basically by that, with the type of life, because like we talked about, it's like everybody had their own privilege of what they think is privilege. Like growing up in the hood, making it out. Right. I may have been privileged to make it out, as well as in contrast to a partner of mine who probably wasn't privileged enough to make it out because of the choices that he made. Okay. And so now he's either locked up or he's dead or he's struggling trying to make ends meet. Okay. Compared to someone that had a great environment. He's black as well, but you know, he grew up in a good environment. And what I mean by good environment in his community had a lot of resources for him to thrive, which was harder for him to fail. So it just depends on the multiple factors that we have in our communities when I think of what you said. So it's a lot of things that a lot of people may not see on the surface. Exactly. It's playing a big role in everything that we got going on. And I know some of the things that get thrown out, like, you know, people are violent. Some people got to go to jail for breaking the law. And sometimes we assume that there's a clear, defined law that was broken. Exactly. You know what I mean? And, you know, I remember certain things growing up and just looking at how certain things kind of played out. I remember those times where if someone else did something, they were being a kid. Exactly. But if you did something, you had to go. Exactly. You know what I mean? So I was wondering, you know, it's very confusing for a child, at least, because children mimic what they see. Exactly. So if they see a lot of people horse playing, guess what? You go out there and horse playing. Now, I ain't going to lie to you. I had the double whammy. I was a black dude, and I was a part of the larger community. Mm-hmm. Big boy. Yes. So we had a lot of momentum and weight on our side. So when we, you know what I mean? So when we played, it put like this, you know what the sad part
part is, I like to call it sizeism, but when everybody's over there playing, they call it horse playing.
Yeah.
And you know, that's a nice, majestic creature, you know what I'm saying? And I'm over there trying to horse play too, and they're like, no, you beyond horse. I'm like, you over the dinosaur play. See, that was messed up because my teacher got suspended for saying that. But this is the thing. You can't be playing with people, you too big. And I'm like, what in the world are you talking about? But that comes into play. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Your stature, your confidence. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that you bring to the situation, if people don't see it as normal,
Exactly.
you will get labeled and you will get ostracized and funneled somewhere else, out of sight, out of mind. And a lot of people don't understand how in depth the idea of out of sight, out of mind is when you're dealing with young black male children in today's school system. A lot of times you have people who cannot relate to young black males across the board. And young black males are extremely stereotyped in this country.
Yeah, I agree
Right?
with that.
And so now, and put like this, think about the storyline behind young black youth in America. Especially when you hear the media say, you know, their youth, broken home, poor, uneducated, you know what I'm saying? These superlatives, you know what I'm saying? These words they use to describe the youth. And not only is it dangerous to describe them, it's so dangerous believing those words. And you got a lot of well-intentioned people who believe people are just substandard in everything. Mm-hmm. And so it goes into how you treat. What you believe about a person does play out in how you treat them.
Yeah, oh, most definitely. Like everybody say they don't like to judge, but that's the first thing we do is judge.
That's it.
And
you got
can't
eyes.
help it. You
And
can't
put
help
like
it.
this, man. Your senses tell you to judge an environment. Mm-hmm. What you see, smell, taste, feel, hear, all of that stuff. You use your senses to make judgments.
Exactly.
That's what they're there
I
for.
mean, yeah, like shoot, if I seen the dude, I'm walking down the street, especially in my hood. I seen the dude walking down the street. He got a hoodie on, and he walking out crossing that street.
Right.
I already know what's up.
Right.
You know,
based off what I've either previously experienced,
Yeah.
or what I've been miseducated to death with.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But if I'm walking down Statesboro and I see a man in the hood, I'm walking the same street he walking because I know. You know what I'm saying?
Because it's the environment.
Exactly, it's the environment.
You know?
So like it all because like you were saying earlier, like what people don't understand, like it's reasons why young blacks do what they do,
Right.
Because they don't have, like, you have to understand, like, who's at the home, the opportunity, the environment. Like I was saying, resources we lack, especially in the hood. We lack resources,
Right.
Like a lot. And the funny thing about it is most of the thing that children do, all children, no matter what skin color, does it.
Right.
Like let's I'm gonna use this for instance. Black kids, a lot of black kids in the hood get caught for entering and stealing at someone's home. But it's funny because whites do it too. But the only difference with blacks is like the difference from whites and blacks is because you got some whites that are privileged and you got some whites that are not. How do you
Right.
depict who's who?
Yeah.
And like and that's the really problem.
It's
of
confusing.
It's confusing.
Right.
So we always put that judgment on why they doing this, why they doing that.
Right.
But you really have it like some people do it because they have no choice. But then you have it because some people do it because they just ignorant.
Right.
Or they had nobody to tell them better.
And what's you know what? Let's deal with that. The no choice, right? Because a lot of people like, no, y'all giving them the excuse, y'all giving them a free pass to do something that's wrong. You know what I mean? And a lot of people love to say, well, they could have just went out and got the job. Somebody could have helped them. Somebody could have did this and this. Now it's all of these different options people got after someone commits the crime, right? And the question is, and I would be honest as how often did this person ask for help before the crime? But now all of a sudden they got the crime and got caught. Now all of a sudden all of these different options pop up out of it. He could have just went here, went here, went here, went here, and went here. First of all, did the person know it? Second of all, did the person know it and just did not go? You know what I mean? Because you got to take all actions. You have some type of accountability in all actions.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I don't think anybody should just get off scot-freely, but I do like to understand the psyche behind it.
All right. I feel like, all right, so like let me look at it like this. Homeboy I used to know, he died when I was in middle school. Mom left him and her boyfriend came in and killed him.
Wow.
They had got into an argument and some people say she set him up or whatever.
Wow.
But it really goes back to what's going on at home.
Right.
And that's what people don't understand. Like like a lot of like with the single parents, like women trying to raise their children. One thing about males, black males, is we're looking for that older male role model, whether we say we are or we not.
Yeah, we definitely are.
We're really looking for it. And what people don't understand is the lack of the black male figure in our homes is what drive us to make the decisions that we do, because we're looking for, when a man joins a gang, he's looking for acceptance.
Right.
Like whatever a man joins, he's looking for acceptance. True. And when he doesn't have that father at home to give him that acceptance, he goes elsewhere. If a man down the street and I don't have no one giving me acceptance at home, and the man down the street always paying for my stuff because he got that good cocaine money or the crack money or whatever, or dope money or whatever, and he keeps doing stuff for me, and then he tells me, now look, I can't keep supplying you. Sometimes you're gonna have to make it on your own,
right? And
this is the way to do it,
right?
I'm gonna lean towards that because I never had it at home,
right?
So when I see someone who is giving it to me here, and it's fast and it looks good and it's changing what I don't have,
right?
And I'm more inclined to, and that's what people don't like really see when they see reasons why people join stuff like that, because all they're looking for is just acceptance.
Dad, we were talking about earlier. Remember we talked about earlier? We were talking about how people get rejected in society, and then all of a sudden they may be looking for certain things to, I guess, support them. But a lot of people don't understand how lonely it is for certain people out there who may be trying to go get some help, but a lot of people just shut them down. And we don't even know how severe that is. You want to talk a little bit about that?
I'm trying to remember the conversation so I can go back to where I was.
It was pretty much like, it depends on how people either stereotype you, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so if somebody believes something about you or your group, right? And you may have made a decision, or you might have been around some people who made the decision, and you still trying to make something better of yourself, but you've been so ostracized to the point you literally don't have a choice. Now, I know sometimes, can I come from a place of privilege when it comes to, I have resources, I got family and friends, right? And I didn't know how deep it can get when people just say, no, dude, I have no one. And you know, when you,
I know
privilege, you be like, bro, you got somebody.
And I'm blind because privilege blinds you. I like, come on, man. I got 7 uncles. So I got 1 million cousins. I got people, alumni from high school, college, all over the place that I can just pick up the phone.
Yeah.
You mean you didn't have nobody? And they're looking at me like, stop disrespecting, you know what I'm saying? Please,
I know exactly what you mean.
Please, you know what I mean? And so that's my ignorance, you know what I mean? So some of those people have been ostracized to the point of no return. So
well, there's 2 things I want to speak on. One, I want to piggyback on what you said, and also we gotta bring acknowledgement to the situations, because I grew up in the great city of Riverdale, Georgia. I can't,
Squad. Is that what y'all say, squad?
Squad. I can't say that enough. And I remember,
I'm from the east side. I got to get a pass. I got to get an acceptance hall pass. It's on 6.
So they're like, with that being said, I've also seen the other side of that too.
Yeah.
Like I've grew up in the hood where it was OGs or whatever that be like, look, some of them that help me out. Like, oh, you need the $20 to apply for your school. Yeah, cool. If I see you doing what I do, you're behind this grass. So it's like, let's not, and I'm not saying that you were, but I'm like, let's not forget about, when they say, well, a lot of people like to say, well, nobody told me or whatever. Some people choose their lifestyle, because they'll be like,
everything in life is a choice.
Yeah, because OGs will be like, look, yeah, this look good. Yeah, I got fast money, but I'm worried about the feds coming in on me
every day.
I'm worried about getting shot
every day.
Yeah. I can't go to the bank because my money illegal, so I got to walk around with this bread or either leave it in the home with my family
every day.
And they vulnerable every day.
Every day.
But at the end of the day, I'm going to pay it forward so you don't have to live this life.
Yeah.
And they be like, man, go to school for what, bro? Look at all that cash you got. But with that privilege comes a responsibility.
Yes, sir.
To educate those who looking at you like, man, he getting his cake. Yeah, I'm getting his cake because I don't have no choice. But at the same time, I'm trying to put you in a position of privilege.
Exactly.
So you don't have to do what I do. So I can only provide for you for right now, but I'm trying to give you a head start so you can go get it the right way.
Exactly.
Real. When it comes to people who sell drugs and do stuff in the community, that seldom do the media like to look at the fact that, oh, it's some drug dealers that won't sell to kids. Oh, it's some drug dealers that, won't even make a sale in front of a child and stuff like that. We don't like to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? And this is not coming towards you. I'm just saying in general.
No, that's real.
We don't like to talk about, like, people like Boozy who go back and they build recreational parks and youth centers in their hood, but they selling dope. They horrible people now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, what makes them
They're
horrible?
horrible
What makes them
people, though.
horrible? What makes them horrible?
By somebody else's perception.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're terrible
That's
people.
all. Exactly.
But at the same time, they using their talents to create better environments in their hood,
For
but
their
they doing it the
communities,
best way they know how.
Exactly.
Devil's advocate. Shouldn't they do that since they broken down the community so bad? Shouldn't it? That's their responsibility to go and build up another rec center. Have you had people say that?
Oh yeah,
well, you messed it up. Go build it.
Exactly. Okay, great. Yeah, okay. He's setting up scholarship funds and stuff like that.
How many people they went to jail? You remember that stuff
Yeah.
they did with Jeezy? Remember Jeezy's son graduated?
And they were like, oh,
and
yeah,
they were just like, oh yeah, so all of my son in jail because of your second CD. Travel down. He believed you, Jeezy. Now you get to see your son go across the stage. I'm like, ma'am.
Really?
Ma'am.
Come
on.
He's not responsible for that.
Yeah. I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Like you said, we all
At the end of the
responsible for our
you gotta look at it like that. It's entertainment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's entertainment. He using what he got in order to be successful, but at the same time, they don't want to publicize when he used to go to the schools and stuff
Not at
and
all.
talk to the kids about not that this is just what we say. This
And
is
they
just
never will.
entertainment. They don't want to publicize
They
that,
never
but they
will.
want to demonize him for what he does.
Right.
Like, for example, you find and I'm going to what you're talking about. You find yourself in a situation where you get locked up. And then everybody's like, oh, you a criminal. They don't know what happened. They don't know why you got there. They don't know how you could have been in the right place at the wrong time. But let's say you get charged with it. You got to live with that criticism and that label for the rest of your life. You can't vote. You get ostracized when you need help. You go to the bank and get a loan. Oh, well, you're a criminal. But at the same time, when you get locked up, you're supposed to be paying your debt to society, right? When you serve your time, that was your punishment. Why is it that some people can serve their punishment and it be forgotten about, but with us, it walks with us forever? Because there's some people who have privileges. When certain people go to jail and they got certain kind of money, okay, Martha Stewart went to jail.
Right.
I wonder how it stopped her from doing anything that she wanted to do.
no. There's a certain level of privilege with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
would
that's
you
what
say-
I was talking about, people getting ostracized.
Yeah.
And you get there and you have no people. Like, my family is bougie. If I tell them, oh, well, they hood bougie. It's weird.
I know
Bougie.
that's even worse.
It's even worse. Like,
That's the worst kind.
Well,
You bougie.
you got locked up. Oh, okay.
That's the worst kind.
But you
telling
selling
everything about your life.
chitlins on the corner, but you want to judge me. All right,
Corner
bet.
chitlins?
Corner chitlins.
Corner chitlins. Outdoorness.
Got all the Highway 85 smelling bad over there by the Panda Express. You selling chitlins on the corner, walking up and down the street, but you want to judge me.
Like,
Hypothetically
what is that
speaking.
smell? Lunch?
Lunch?
No, sir.
We got the mustard and the hot sauce and the bread ready for you. But yeah, so it's just like, that's what I'm saying. Like, people get ostracized for their situation.
Right.
Men, women, all kind of stuff like that. Like, for example, women who do sexual work, when they because we were talking about this earlier. When she be like, well, I'm in a position where I don't have to do that no more to survive, to eat, to feed my kids. I don't got to strip no more. But when she go out and try to find somebody, everybody be like, girl, or they be like, hey, son, she used to strip back in the day. At what point do we get forgiven for what we had to do in order to survive? When is that looked at?
Forgiveness is only there when it's convenient for the people in power.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's some people who really don't got nobody, and they have to do stuff that society looks at it as, well, that's not really right. But what can you really do when those are the cards that you are dealt?
Right. And
Like,
it's simple to see. It's almost like the Hunger Games. I look at and I wouldn't even try to be funny, but you know how you look at the Hunger Games, and if you ever look at the Hunger Games, you like 4th grade. I be thinking about that sometimes.
Like slavery.
You know what I mean? And so you sit there and you're like, well, if you want to make it, you better go through all these obstacles. And oh, by the way, you can't eat today. By the way, you got another homeboy who ain't gonna make it back tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Just small little stuff. A lot of people just do not know people going through, and the mental draining that a lot of people experience when it comes to that. And see, this was the thing a lot of people don't understand, right? Life is already difficult. Life is difficult as an adult who can vote and work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's already difficult. Picture yourself as a underage human being with no vote, no money, no rights, kind of. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You got people who are doing all types of things, you know, running campaigns and this, that, and other. You can't even, your voice is not heard. However, you are affected in some kind of way, because some people who run for office are trying to cut funding to the school you need food from. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But you still don't have a voice. And I'm looking at the child and I'm like, man, as an adult, it is, you know, it can get real tough. When we look at a child, and no matter what anyone says, somebody can put you on that school to prison pipeline, and you don't even have enough voice to say that grown person's lying. That grown person really is antagonizing me. I didn't do anything wrong.
Because they have the authority.
They got authority. They got the voice. They got the power.
Yeah. And the fact that our voice doesn't matter.
Right.
Okay, because I have a friend of mine who ever since the 6th grade, he basically been living by himself. And his mama showed up to graduations like she did something.
Right.
And I'm just like, bro, we used to be, I ain't gonna lie, we used to skip school, go to his house, be like, bro, where your mama at? It's 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3 in the morning. Bro, where your mama at? Bro, she ain't came home in like 5 months. And he be like, but she gonna, when she find out when graduation, I bet you she'll be there.
Right.
And just the hurt on his face, seeing that when he really don't, he paying rent. Even though it's not in his name, he paying rent by himself.
High school.
He buying clothes by himself. He finding the way to school by himself, and he doing the right thing. He's not making no excuses for himself. But at the same time, her showing up at graduation or being there on important moments when he be like, don't nobody help me. People be like, bro, you lying, your mama right there. That don't mean nothing. Just the presence of somebody don't mean that they help you. For example, with FAFSA, us as college students, bro, just because my mother claims me, that doesn't mean, now my mama a great mama. But what I'm saying is, just because my mother claims me, that don't mean she pay any of my bills. She could be like, I love you, son, but you a man.
Yeah, pretty much.
That is
claiming is only just saying representing.
Yeah, it's just like, well, you know, I
deserve
deserve for you to be on my taxes so I can get that break because mama had you.
Yeah,
but it wasn't my decision to come here. Yeah, but I still had you and I fed you. That's what you were supposed to do.
By law.
By law, that's what you were supposed to do. Yeah, but I still did it. I did it though. So you're gonna be on these taxes. So it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Just because a certain situation looks that way, and like we have help. Man, we always got help.
For sure.
I always got help.
I got a small excerpt that I want to read real quick. It's from the book called Bad Boys, Public Schools and the Making of Black Masculinity from Ann Arnett Ferguson. And it's on page 2. And this is very intriguing. She says, in the course of my study, it became clear that school labeling practices and the exercise of rules operated as a part of a hidden curriculum to marginalize and isolate black male youth in disciplinary spaces and brand them as criminally inclined. Criminally inclined. Isolate black male youth in disciplinary spaces and brand them as criminally inclined. Now, the branding, right? I like to, sometimes I look at that whole thing as an academic felony, right? Yeah. Y'all ever been labeled as the bad kid in school?
Yeah.
Or you get that label of the class clown?
I got that.
I remember one time somebody told me I was a class clown. It was the first day of school. I said, it is 7:15. I did that. How am I the class clown? We ain't even in class.
Man, I got it in college.
Yeah.
I got that label in college.
Yeah.
Got that label in elementary school.
Man.
I remember I came here after my first semester. I had a 1.33. Now, not to talk bad, but I come from Clayton County, and I realize that if you're an honor student in Clayton County, you're a regular student everywhere else.
Man, ain't that the truth?
It's the truth.
Ain't that the truth?
But I got in biology. I got principles of biology 1201, and she was like, you should have learned this in 5th grade. Man, I have never seen this in my life.
Exactly.
And it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've never seen this in my life.
And that's the scary part of sometimes going to, you know, to I guess
Yeah.
to any college period, but you find out how many potholes are still there.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and then I remember I had to take this academic success class, and they treated us all like we just didn't care about college. Like we came there to party and flunk out and spend our parents' money, and they're like, well, these are the study techniques that you need to have if you have the aptitude to learn them.
Right.
I was like, bro, for real?
I mean, I will agree. One thing, like that's one thing I was talking about with resources. I will agree, like we lack the resource because one thing about in the hood, they didn't teach us how to study. And
At
that's
all.
something
They taught us how to memorize.
they taught us how to memorize, but they didn't teach us how to study. And that's something I had to relearn. in
Critical. Well, you know what's funny? Just because you memorize something doesn't mean you comprehend.
Exactly.
Comprehension, understanding, critical thinking, all of those things. And when you teach people to a test to regurgitate answers, you know what I mean? That is not critical thinking. That's just you just regurgitating information. And when somebody puts you in a situation, say, all right, make your way up out of there. You've never been through a situation where you had to critically think and make your brain work really, really hard to try to figure out all possibilities. You've been trained to do one thing, one way, at a specific time. And because you didn't do that the way I told you, you've been punished.
It teaches you how to be expendable and obedient.
And not exactly. It teaches you how to be an employee, right? And when you are, and I'm not gonna lie to you, how many times as a kid that when you were critically thinking and you were thinking outside the box, you had negative reinforcement come
Stay
right
in a
behind.
child's place. That's what your parents always told
Stay
you when
in
you
the
thought about something. Stay in it. You be like,
You
well,
ain't
mama,
grown. Sit
but
down.
I don't
But,
understand.
hey.
If you got $500 and the rent is only $200,
Right.
and the water bill is only $40 and the light bill is only $60, that leaves you with $200 left. It only takes $100 for the car, and we get food stamps. So that's another boy.
Yeah.
Stay in a child's place. But you got that Gucci bag, mama. But
Don't do that. Don't bring up Gucci. Don't you bring up Gucci.
But I don't have any school clothes, mama. We had the money.
But now, man,
it.
it's
But you able to smell pine coals in
it
there.
is that's hilarious. That is hilarious.
No,
All right.
we ain't got no food, but I smell pine coals every day.
Pine cones. Okay. All right. She also goes on to say, and this is Ann Arnett Ferguson. If you just tuned in, this is a book called Bad Boys, Public Schools in the Making of Black Masculinity. She also says her study investigates the aspect of punishment through an exploration of the meaning of school rules and the interpretation of trouble from the youth's perspective. What does it mean to hear adults say that you are bound for jail and to understand that the future predicted for you is doing time inside of prison walls? Y'all ever notice when they kept sending you to ISS every time you got caught doing something, or when they thought you were doing something, you got sent out of your classroom either to ISS, to the principal's office, worst case scenario, home?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Coach's office.
Right, something like that, right? And so that's why I was fortunate enough had a coach that was like, don't send him home, bring him to me, and give me his work, and tell me what you about to grade. And sometimes you get sent out the classroom, and they doing like major stuff, and they're not telling you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And next thing you know, they telling your mom, well, we can't promote him because he's missing 84 assignments. You was like, how can a child miss 84 assignments? And this is the first time we talked. Well, we called. You was like, when?
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So, and then she goes on to say, what does school trouble mean under the deleterious circumstances? How does a 10-year-old black boy fashion a sense of self within this context? How? So now check this out. One of the things that kind of stood out to me is, how do they define trouble? What does it mean to hear that you're bound for jail and your future predicted to you is doing time inside of a prison wall? You see what I'm saying? And how many times have someone said, hey man, you going to jail if you don't do this. You going to jail, you going to jail. And not only that, how many times have you been trained that every time that somebody disagrees with you or you act out, you're going to be ostracized and quarantined by yourself? That psychologically, you kind of train yourself to say, this is my life. Not going to lie to you. It got to the point where I didn't even have to say anything. It was like to the point like, man, just send me the ISS. You ever had those days, or you ever had one of them homeboys who was just like, look, I ain't got time for this today. Just send me the ISS.
Oh, we just skipped.
Well, some people just skip though, right?
Yeah, we just skip.
However, you know what I'm saying, with me, you know what I'm saying, Ma Duke, she had the backhand of a falcon. You know what I mean? That it was quick. It was real quick, bro. So, you know, she ain't play that skipping. And plus, I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm just be honest with you, in order to skip school, you had to be real fast.
I mean, not just skip school, just like sometimes you skip class. You know, you always had that one favorite teacher that you just go to her class.
Yeah. All of them hated my guts. So, but but I lived in, my school was in the neighborhood I lived at, so you can literally just walk through some woods, man, and just get straight to the crib. You know what I mean? Shout out to C-Bro. Thank you so much for the back pathway. But no, it's just if you didn't make it out that parking lot in maybe like 3.5 to maybe 10, like you have to be zooming, man. I ran a 40 and a 40, so I
40 in 40 minutes.
No, I ran 40 yards in 40 seconds.
You got quiet.
That's real, bro.
Yeah, don't judge. You know what I'm saying? I did 1 yard a second. I like to take my time. So it's just what it is, man. But no, it's just after you've been conditioned that you're in trouble, after a while you ask for it. If you know that's where you're going. Exactly. And not only that, verbally they tell you that's where you're going. Every time you critically think about something, you may speak out of turn or if you go against the status quo. It's not necessarily bad, but you will be inconvenient, but you'll be labeled bad, but you're just inconvenient for the classroom. It's not necessarily that you cussing someone out. It's just anything that you do can be labeled as disrespect. And I'm gonna tell you some real stuff. I volunteer at schools for years, you know what I mean? And some of the quote unquote problem children that they'll give you, and you'll look at their record and you're like, he needs a lot of stuff. He needs a lot of work, right? He's just so disrespectful. That word is thrown all over the place. And it gets to the point when I go to a school and I'm like, all right, how does your school define disrespect? And it gets quiet. Because disrespect is left up to interpretation. You can feel offended at something and call it disrespect. Well, the kid doesn't even know you got offended. He's just being himself. You understand what I'm saying? Exactly. And so how many times you got written up for being disrespectful and you had no idea that that your teacher was sitting back harboring these type of feelings when you came in, right? I've had a teacher one time say, well, I don't like your attitude today. You didn't even speak today.
Yeah, I got that.
I ain't even know.
You know what I'm saying? But you don't understand. A lot of people don't, and this is not me picking on teachers, but this is real life. And a lot of people don't understand. The school to prison pipeline starts in the school. I understand, but I'm not, omitting what happens inside the home. The home is responsible for what the home is responsible for. But there are people inside the schools that are giving your child little school felonies. You know what I mean? Little write-ups add up, and they start to give you write-ups, and that goes against your record. Your child has a record
in school.
Exactly. You understand? And so not only that, if you just training them, you already got a felony. And guess what? You go to another school, the teachers have already talked about you. You got a reputation already, and you got grown people saying, I got my eye on you. I heard about you. And you don't understand. You sitting up there like, man, you don't understand. I was going through a domestic violence at my home really heavy last year. I was sleepy all the time. My teacher thought I was saying that she was boring, but you don't understand. I had to stay up all night to make sure my mother was safe, to make sure she can get to work. And, I get my sleep at home. But when both of my parents are at home at night, they argue all night. And I need to make sure that they're both safe. But you get sleepy in class. That's a write-up. You know what I mean? And see, disrespect, and guess what? Being sleepy, some people think is disrespectful. And if you don't have a story behind that word disrespect, your child would just be having that felony going on with him until he gets kicked out of school. And everybody has that certain level of write-ups that you get before you get kicked out, right? And so what a lot of people don't understand, if you have a child that's in the, I guess, quote-unquote problem child, or you got a child that has a bubbling personality.
That was me. I got in trouble a lot.
You understand what I'm saying?
Not for talking, but I got in trouble because I was considered a disruption to class. Because when I walked in class, people would be lit. Damn, Riverdale, what's up? Even though we were in Riverdale, they would still say that. They'd be like, damn, Riverdale, what's up? What's going on with you? What's going on? Stuff like that. And I figured out one teacher was really jealous of how I was welcomed in the class.
You better know that teachers get jealous of children. Don't act like that don't exist.
And I was just like, I had to tell her, Miss such and such, I said, I really don't understand why you have this disdain for me. And another thing, if you're a young child with a vocabulary, some teachers think that's disrespectful.
Thank you.
Because they think that you're trying to talk down to them.
Yes, sir.
And I'm like,
you could be, and then they tell you to get your AR score up, right?
Yeah.
You go home and reading all these books.
Yeah.
And you say, indubitably. What did you say? You don't know what that means, Miss Alice? What do you mean? What I don't get out? Because I don't like that tone, you know. And I think you cursed it. Do you smell like weed?
Exactly. I think he got weed on him.
Yeah, I think he got weed on him. And he sold a puppy in the gym. I saw it.
That actually happened at our school.
I know.
So like, bikes were sold, skateboards, skates, iPhones, all
everything happened.
Stolen iPod. So I mean, we can't act like that don't happen. But still, though, it's just like I was just like, I don't understand, Miss Such and Such. Why do you have such a great disdain for me when I try to? I'm respectful in your class. I do my work.
Right.
I normally finish first, and I sit there and I don't talk to nobody till you said we could talk. Turns out later I heard her talking to another teacher, and everybody just love him when he come into the class. Everybody just want to say, hey, Dale, what's going on with you? And stuff. I can't even teach the class because somebody trying to get his attention. How is that my fault? I can't control somebody trying to say what's up to me.
Jealousy don't never get old.
Then I found out that same teacher was jealous of other teachers because they had a good rapport with the students. And because the other teachers like, no, Dale cool. Dale ain't never been disrespectful or nothing. And that don't even make no sense.
Then they take it personal. Oh, so you just act out of my class.
Then that's what they'll say.
Yes.
And then it's like, and then because the other teachers be like, and then sometimes that other teacher, I remember she was like, Dale if you tell him to stop talking, he stopped talking. Normally, you don't even have to get that far. He'll help you quiet the class down. If you pull him to the side and be like, hey, look, I'm trying to get this done and people are interacting with you too much, he'll solve the problem. Well, no, he just doesn't do that in my class. So now she is personal now. Now she hate me. I'm like, but you haven't even communicated with me that I've done nothing wrong.
Right.
And you will smile in my face. Right. But you'll take points off just so I get a C in your class.
Right.
It's not also with discipline. It's also with access to success.
Right. Right. And a lot of people don't understand how deep it can get when you have grown-ups with power, right? And they have the power to write you up, but you don't have the power to write them up.
Or appeal.
You know what I mean? And honestly, too, I want to see how interesting it would get if children were allowed to file complaints
or appeal.
Because it'll be some students that'll be monsters with it. They'll start recording. We can record stuff now.
And now don't get me wrong. You know, I understand it's a bigger issue than that. You know, it's many more variables. However, man, those times when the child is literally helpless, how can that person get a voice? And I'm just wondering what the options are. They're limited. And they're very limited. So I'm like, I'll give an example. Had a conversation with a teacher a couple of years back. Had a child was blurting out, right? Young black kid blurting out in class, right? And I was like, okay. He says, and she was like, well, he has outbursts. And I was just like, okay, how do you define outbursts? Because I'm looking at the other kids in your class and they're bursting out. Like, you know what I'm saying? That, when you like 8, outburst is pretty much your first language. Like, hey, you got a hat. They love it. Oh man, you got some more gum? Shut up, little boy. You be like, oh, I'm sorry, it was gum and I needed it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just what it is. And then it got down to this. Well, he just says things that I don't agree with. And I said, okay, now it goes down to agreeing, and it's not the blurting out, it's the actual words. What words does he say? Then he was like, when I asked him to do something, he'll say something, said, "Oh man," and he was like,
Really?
hold on. I said, did he curse afterwards? No. I don't like hearing him say anything after I tell him something. I said, okay, well, how many kids say, "Oh man," when they're disappointed?
Exactly. Like,
and I said, well, how many grown-ups say, "Oh man," when they disappointed? You know what I mean?
it'd be grown folks be cussing.
That's what I'm saying. So, and when you get down to that point, you have to really start asking questions. When you're dealing with schools, don't get me wrong, there are students who are literally disrespectful to their teachers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They are threatening them. They say random stuff. They're beating up the kids. You have to literally handle that, because now you're talking about safety to other kids, safety to yourself as an adult, and safety to that kid. You don't know what he's going to do to hurt himself. You know what I mean? So you have to check that, right?
Yeah.
However, we do understand that there are times when certain kids and certain adults just don't vibe. You know what I mean?
No, I know
and it's
exactly
just
what you mean.
sometimes, man, everybody involved, when you looking at that type of stuff, you have to say, all right, we can tell both of y'all, I know you're the adult, but you're taking it personal. We're going to have to remove him out of that, or we're going to have to get y'all some space, or we're going to have to come to agreement how you guys are going to interact. Because every time that he speaks out or he's a kid, he can't just keep getting written up.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to be that. But yeah, a lot of people don't understand that pipeline it doesn't need help, and I think that's what I try my best, and I understand what the youth is always trying to figure stuff out. You know what I mean? I'm the youth to somebody on this planet. Everybody's the youth to somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so when I say the youth, I'm included. When I say, man, this generation different, they saw me how I was acting. So it's either something I did or did not do that they learn from, and they're either replicating it or they're abstaining from it. Either way, I don't agree with it, but I have to take my responsibility of the part I had in it. You know what I mean? So I think at the end of the day, please, I know I will do this personally for myself. I will have to, every time I go to a school, or every time I'm teaching a class, or anytime I'm speaking to anybody, any student, individual, parent, anybody, I have to look at that pipeline, because it's running well. It's a well-oiled machine. And a lot of people not necessarily, they're not oblivious, but I don't think people know how in-depth it goes. It is a strategic, meticulous, very fine-tuned thing to have children removed out of schools because they're inconvenient. I'm not talking about the ones that are threatening. I'm not talking about the ones that tell the teacher, "I'm going to punch you in your face tomorrow." I'm not even talking about them. I'm talking about the ones who are very creative, very intelligent, very confident, knowing who they are. Smart.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because smart, I ain't going to lie to you, some people think smart means obedient.
It's almost the exact opposite.
Right.
You have that freedom of thinking for yourself.
Right. And free thinking, I ain't going to lie to you, this society does not take too kindly to free thinking young people.
At all.
Especially if they're very small. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A little boy coming up to you and is like, "I think you're not really fit for this job." Right?
Yeah.
And guess what?
You be like, what you know?
Guess what? If he's a human being, right? Children, and a lot of people don't say this, children not allowed to have an opinion.
Oh, a lot of people say that.
Yeah.
What you mean? A lot of people don't say this.
Well,
in our community, a lot of people say that.
No.
You don't pay no bill. What you? It don't matter. My dad used to say it all the time. Well, hey, you feel like paying some bills?
Well, no. Well, you know how people say
it don't matter what you think.
Well, this is the thing I'm talking about. You know how people say it's freedom of speech. People throw that freedom of speech out there like everybody can have an opinion.
Until a kid hurts your feelings.
Well, I'm telling you, when a kid does it, man, the whole garage fall on him. Like, I'm serious, man. He was just like, "I think the food sucks. Why is everybody surrounding me?" I thought y'all told me not to lie. So if I told the truth, so I need to lie now. Okay, I can't lie. I'm moving out.
Hey, and they be so confused. They be like, "Baby, you shouldn't lie." Oh, who that is? Tell them I'm not here. Tell them I'm not here.
Exactly.
That's a bill collector. Tell them I'm not
ask
here.
all those questions.
Exactly. So let's talk about some type of solutions, right? We talked about that. We know that sometimes, especially young black boys and black girls and minority youth, are labeled, right? And I can talk from the black male point of view, but I've seen young ladies get labeled as well. But the black boys, I mean, it is just, it's so blatant it ain't even funny. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So in what ways, and we are older youth, you know what I'm saying? In what ways can we at least reroute, destroy, clog up this pipeline?
Well, first, I think it starts with the self. And for that to happen is we have to first evaluate ourselves and ask ourselves, is what we're doing, if we know what we're doing, and is what we're doing right, and how can we make a difference? Because in order for me to help anybody else, I got to help myself first.
Right.
So I need to get myself straight first before I can help you. Because if I'm falling and you falling and I can't save myself, we both just going to fall.
Exactly.
So in order for me to save you, I have to make sure myself is already saved so that I can save you.
Right.
So I can be in a position to save you.
Right.
Like you said, we're not here we can't save everybody. But we can save those who are willing to be saved.
Got you, big dog. What you think? What suggestions do you have for the people to destroy this pipeline, man?
I really think it's all on us as black men.
I agree.
I really think it's all on us.
I agree.
Because one thing that's almost really to be, I don't know where you can find the statistics at, but from what I've seen, it's proven when you take the black male figure from a home, you destroy it.
You take the military out. The black father is the military.
You
of the
destroy
family.
it.
Foundation.
It's
And
the
everybody,
foundation.
every black father don't rule with an iron fist, but his presence is important.
Yeah.
That's
People,
all that matters.
people at least, I put it like this: it won't stop somebody from destroying the home, but it make people have to strategize more and deeply if they know a black male, an older black male is in the house.
Because if you really think about it, the male is, I'm not saying our black women aren't important, but the man sets the standard. Not only for the young man, but he sets the standard for that young black woman, what she's to expect and how she's supposed to be treated, by how she watches her mother get treated or interacted with by her father.
Right.
And also, he teaches that young man how to be a man and how to deal with life problems through not only example, but teaching him how to strategize, how not to quit, showing him the right balance of being tough, but at the same time being soft enough to deal with your family. Because only a black man can teach another black man how to go fight a war and then come back and not treat your family like the enemy.
Exactly.
That's tough. That's tough because it's hard to leave all that stuff at the door.
Right.
It's really tough. That's a strategy in itself. So I really feel like the solution is more engagement with us as black men in the family, because like you said earlier, we searching. If you watch a baby at the park, right? Look at them. Look at the ones who have both of their parents. And what do you hear them say the most? Daddy, look at me. It don't matter what the gender is. Because for some reason they search for our approval. And back in the day, I know when I grew up, we used to see all the men, the father figures and stuff at the park telling you to stop doing something whether they knew you or not. It take a village to raise a child, and we don't do that no more because we so afraid of somebody coming up to us, oh, you don't tell my child such and such and such and such. And we got away from that village mentality, and that's what really like how you were saying earlier, that's what really got us through.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what really put us in. And I'm looking at our children now, we don't really have that.
Right.
And then even when we did have it, it wasn't strong enough.
Right.
Because it was only so much they can do and so much they can say.
Right.
We really need to first identify the males and the black females in our community
that are woke,
that mean well for our children, and stop putting them under so much pressure when they chastise our children. They need to be able to tell our children, nah, you tripping. And not only are you finna do this and be punished, but I'm gonna tell your mama too, because that's how our parents grew up. And it was something about that they didn't like, because that's what we do as generations. Something we don't like, we change it. And we try to give our children what we didn't have or take away what we didn't like.
Right.
But we don't realize what we take away with that.
Yeah, man.
Exactly.
Man, I don't like the fact that everybody can check me, but at the same time, I'm a positive individual for society. But I couldn't get away with nothing. I used to get whooped all the time. Yeah, but I think twice before I do something. You know what I'm saying? We take away based off of what we feel, but we also take away with stuff that's needed. If you trim a flower too much, you kill it.
Right. I think too, just
to make it look good.
You said something totally on point, man. Both of you all have people who are woke. You know, a lot of, especially our community, we throw that woke word around really I would say consistently. I would look at, we need the people that's woke and willing to get out of the bed.
Yeah.
Because what's happening now is the consciousness, I think, to be woke now is to just notice what's going on. Being woke now, I know back in the day, you know what I'm saying, being woke, man, you got to go do extensive research. And I think if you're not at least alert now, you might be just quote unquote brain dead. You know what I'm saying? Not trying to be disrespectful to somebody who may be suffering from that. What I'm saying is you have to be strategically ignoring what's going on now, because it's so blatant now, it's impossible not to be alert.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And all stereotypes are wrong. All general statements are wrong. However, I think everybody's woke enough, I think, right now, right? However, how can people be woke and courageous to do exactly what they need to do when they see something is wrong?
Like I said, it starts with self-evaluation. So check this out. We see the information, right?
It's the difference between being aware and awake.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And so now you can be awake. You can be awakened. You can even be aware. But if you're not willing, being awake and aware, it's only going to do so much. You can try to go make awake and help people be aware who are courageous enough to go and do something. You know what I mean? Yeah, because if you sit there and I'm just woke in my house, and I know for a fact I go outside. I am not gonna lie to you. I had caught myself being a hypocrite one time. I really do care about kids, right? And I remember one time, I just got finished watching something, reading a book, writing some stuff down, this and another, while right outside, and I seen some kids that stereotypically look like they, could, and just like how the media paints them, our youth, right? A lot of people don't understand. We are trained to fear our own people.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, you're not exempt. No matter how much you want to love your folks, how much you've been reading, taking pictures, high-fiving, Googling stuff, you've been trained to hate your folks now. Yeah. And so what I had to check myself, and I still check myself as much as I can, is when I see my folks, speak to my folks. Speak to them. I don't care how that little small little feeling that you get of fear or suspicion, or you see them over there. Why are they sitting over there? It don't matter why they sitting over there. Hopefully it don't matter. You know what I mean? But I just go and get that ignorance out. And am I willing? I'm woke now, right? Am I willing to get out of bed and acknowledge them as human beings across the street? Am I willing to say, "What's up, man? Just want to speak." I know I've been told to hate you. I know I'm based off what you wearing. I've been told that you up to no good. I can't assume that. How you doing? Is there anything you want to talk about? You got anything on your mind? And I ain't gonna lie to you, my life changed when I stopped giving into that stereotype about my own folks.
And sometimes they'll look at you like, "What, you care?" Yeah,
man. The whole world would even put like this. A lot of people don't understand that when you speak to the youth will look out for you. The youth right now are they are reflecting the treatment that already been given to them.
I done heard them conversations like when I've been in the neighborhood on Round Road. Hey man, don't break into Mr. Robinson's house. He's straight.
Hey, it gets to that point. It sounds, people like, how dare they? No, you don't understand. When it gets down to feeding your grandmama and she don't have health insurance, until you know that. Until she need her insulin, and she done got denied again, and you have to look at her face in that pain. I've had young men was just like, you know what, Mr. Pugh, man, I understand that. Yeah, I was wrong. I'll do it again though. You were like, you ain't never seen a baby about to die of starvation. Have you ever seen it? I said, no, sir, I have not. I had to call him sir. I ain't never had to look at that. It's just what it is. Some people are living that on a daily basis. So don't get me wrong. I think wrong is wrong. However, I know for a fact they ain't had to live through some of this stuff.
You talking about the golden rule? I forgot what we were studying that. There's the philosophers. There's Plato. There's Mills, and
Socrates.
there's another one, and he basically goes by justify the means. So what depending on the end result determines whether something is justified or not. You know what I'm saying? What's wrong to you could be right into someone's eyes if they can justify the situation. Like you said, for example, he going in breaking in people's house, but his mom and society looks like, oh, you're a criminal.
Right.
You're somebody who creates problems. But at the same time, they not looking at that's the only way he can solve his problem to keep his grandma alive. And then you look at that, you be like, man, he's really a great person.
Low-key superhero.
Exactly, but it just depends on what you know. And this is the one thing I want to read. Shout out to my homegirl, Kashia. She said, most folks haven't awakened, they're just aware. One requires active changes in your life and thinking in a progressive manner. The other is merely acknowledgement of the issues at hand.
Which one is merely acknowledging the issues?
You're aware.
The awareness. So awaken is you actually planning.
You actually change.
Changing. Is the change internal?
From what I understand, that's all she put on the post.
No, cool.
So I don't want to put words into her mouth. But from what I understand, the change is internal because you have to change your state of mind.
Right. So
in order to change your actions.
Right. So that's awareness.
No, that's when you're woke.
Woke. All right. When you're changing, then waking up.
Yeah, you
that
see
process.
It, and you change because of what you see.
Yeah, and awareness is just like, oh yeah, that's on fire. And you just walk away.
No water hose, no nothing.
You see what's going on, but change.
Just but put like this: if you're in a house and your fire alarm goes off, when it wakes you up, you know what to do. Yeah. So that's what it means to be awake or woke. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So for everybody who has that confusing, you know what I mean? Hopefully that's a little clarity for you. You know, with people who are woke, those are the people who know what's going on and they're actually trying to do something about it. They're actually trying to do something, especially internally first. They're trying to work on themselves. So I would say awoke means how I was stereotyping my own folks. And now I'm making a point to make sure no matter what I see, how I see them, I'm going to speak in the knowledge of their humanity. No matter how long I've been programmed to hate my own folks. So that is a level of being woke. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly by the definition of what she put it.
Got you.
Because you have a progressive way of thinking.
Got you. So I will put like this, man. My suggestion is people, even if you are a professional person, right? All of us, most of us, I don't want to assume, but a lot of us have lunch breaks. You know what I mean?
I'm going to have one.
You got to have lunch breaks. I would highly suggest on your lunch break, sacrifice one lunch break a month to go into the schools and speak to a child.
Yeah, you can eat a sandwich on the way. It ain't got to be a complete sacrifice.
Right. You can get you a sandwich. You know what I'm saying? Or if it's around Thanksgiving time, you know, schools be setting out their Thanksgiving lunch.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially on Spaghetti Day, shout out. Okay. But no, exactly. So, but I think, too,
garlic bread.
Find out what you can do. I think a lot of us, garlic bread, we got to focus.
The only skinny man sitting in here.
It's RG, man. You know, we'll teach you how to make it. Just eat before you go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? If you get full, just keep going. Don't quit. We're not quitters, man.
It's always that second win.
Exactly.
Hey, it just depends on what I'm eating.
Yeah, I know. If you get full, just move your left ankle and you create some more room.
Oh, loosen your belt buckle.
Exactly, man. And lift your right arm up. Little stuff like that.
Take off your jacket.
But no, man, like if you find you a school, find you somewhere that and I would suggest somewhere that you have a connection to. If you're in your neighborhood, if you're around the same neighborhood that you actually went to elementary school in, middle school in, high school, or college, you don't have to, you can go to a college and say, hey, man, I just want to speak to somebody. I want to just come in and check on y'all. I'm from the neighborhood. I didn't go to this college. I just want to come in and just speak to you, acknowledge your existence.
Man, I went down to Savannah with my LBs, and we're in this class, and I know I told you about this story, and this dude, he was just like, yeah, and you can do this in college, and she was like, if you don't sit down, you need. I was like, nah, man, it's cool. It was just excited. He just excited.
Yeah,
like it's all
excitement is not.
He's excited. I didn't try to disrespect her. I said, man, it's cool. I know. He was like, man, don't nobody ever want to come talk to us.
Wow.
And we were just sitting there. Me and my LB just sitting there like,
that's deep.
Wow. Like it stunned us, and we're just sitting there, and I was just like, well, hold on. And it was this one. He kept on interrupting. I said, well, check this out. If you let him speak, he may get your question answered for you. If I'm answering a question that's important to you, would you want him? I sat there and explained it to him, and I got more respect and control in her class than she did. She been there all year.
You gave him the why. Most kids want to know that why.
Why? And I'm sitting there, I'm like, but check this out. What you gonna ask? I promise you I'll answer before I leave.
That's real.
Because it's important to me that I leave and you get something.
Right.
And he was sitting back in the seat like, cool.
Thank you, man. You acknowledge me.
That's what's up. That's what's up. When it comes to stuff like that, man, it's just like you just gotta treat kids, even though they're younger, they still human beings.
They're small humans, man, with no rights.
and it's
like for real. That's how I look at it.
It blew my mind. I was just sitting there like, wow, like, and I'm sitting there, the teacher, she yelling at him, sit down. I'm just like, if you fall, just explanation. If you fall, then everybody in here who's an adult gets in trouble, and you hurt yourself. And he just sitting here like, wow, he talked to me like I'm somebody.
And he explained why.
He explaining why.
Yeah.
And see, everybody don't have that privilege. Let's bring it all back.
Yeah.
That privilege. My parents, they raised me like that. Mm-hmm. Some people would look at my parents like, what you explaining to him for? He's a child.
Yes. That's weird.
And my mom would be like, he still needs to know why. Mm-hmm. And it got to the point where I trusted my parents so much that when they couldn't explain something, I'd be like, it's a reason.
Yeah.
It's somewhere. They can't explain it. But I know it's because they explain so much that when they said, do this, I'd be like, why? I can't tell you right now. Just do it. I had so much faith in them because they never had me do something just off of how they felt or to control me. It was on some, this is for your own good. Here's why.
Right.
That's all kids want to know.
And you know what's funny? Kids, when they ask why, only thing they're asking for is truth. The kids are the most lied to bunch of people on the planet. Mm-hmm. People lie to kids and justify with keeping their childhood intact. Mm-hmm. People try to justify with that, right?
And then send them off to the world to get slaughtered.
Right. Exactly. So what happens is when people say, well, why, mommy, why? Don't ask me, don't question me, right? But at the end of the day, if you hear a child say why, pretend that they're saying, can I get truth? Can I get truth behind what you just told me, right?
That's all they want.
And then you respond with no. So that means I'm looking at like, bam, people that brought me here want me to be ignorant.
Then that's one thing we got to change.
Yeah, exactly. So I think across the board, I think we all have something else that we can do on this planet. Mm-hmm. And before it gets misconstrued, which I already know it will be, that's all, words and all of this stuff. Teachers are not always at fault for everything. And we know that. You know what I'm saying? We just, we're really trying to make sure that we advocate for people who don't have that voice. You know what I mean? I think it's very important that we acknowledge the truth in everything that's going on. And the truth of the matter is a lot of teachers that care, but they don't have the power or the voice to really speak up in a lot of cases that they may not know about.
And if they do, their resources get taken away.
Exactly, right? And so you got to, there is a such thing as politics and everything that's going on. Mm-hmm. And so now certain teachers who know what's going on, they're going to need their support system, because just because you're an adult doesn't automatically help you have a voice in your place of employment. You know what I mean? Politics is in everything. So when you go somewhere, somebody can say, I know you've seen that, but you need to keep your mouth shut. But the children are, literally suffering. I know, but this is how you do it. This is that and other. But for a fact, this child is experiencing depression, getting picked on by adults and other children because no one is speaking up for him. What do you do? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I would just say shout out to the teachers that's fighting a good fight, who knows what's going on, who's trying to clog up the school to prison pipeline by any means necessary, even if it jeopardizes their comfort level in their jobs. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily you got to go straight up Black Panther. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to necessarily you ain't got to do that, but you ain't got to go Black Panther, but you can go Gray Kitten. You like you can do a little something. You can just. But I think also too, a lot of people may not understand the curriculum that's being shared in the schools. And a lot of times, if you're disconnected with the schools, if you're not a teacher, you may not even know what curriculum is actually mandatory in your county, let alone the school, right? So say, for instance, you don't know what type of books they actually have in the schools. If you want to donate specific books and you want a kid to read a specific book, bring that book. If you got something on Black history that you think is critical that a elementary school child needs to know this type of stuff, bring it and help that child read that book, or come and bring that book and read it to that child every time you come up there. It's just small stuff you can do. Just like you said, sometimes it's changing the world is just giving the world a choice or giving the world something to look at, man. So have y'all ever had a situation, do y'all remember somebody coming to the school and speaking to y'all? Growing up,
most definitely.
Who was it, and how did it go?
It was. I wouldn't say he was a pimp, but he was like a neighborhood, like classy guy. Like he come to the school. He was like I don't know, cause some days he was like the good guy. Some days he was hitting on my grandma. Some days he was, he was Martin Luther King. But he was one of those real true cats that just wanted to like look out for the kids. I remember one time I was at the neighborhood. I was getting a haircut. He paid for my haircut. Like he was one of those people that just genuinely like whatever he was doing outside the streets, he made sure that he took care of his community. Right. So yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying. Like. When it comes to our self-evaluation, it's something we just got to like, after that, it's something like we might want to just focus on our younger humans because like at the end of the day, they are our future.
Oh, yeah. And they remember stuff.
I remember
everything, man. So you're going to either they want to give back or they want to get back.
Exactly. So we going to decide which they choose.
Yep.
So
sure do.
I'd rather them give back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Dale, from Riverdale, do you remember people coming by or stopping by your school to talk about anything?
Yeah, Kobe Bryant came by our school.
That's tight. Like Mama came by?
Oh, I got a picture to prove it.
You lying?
I'm so serious. I got to pull it up. Yeah.
That's tight. What did he talk about?
He was just talking about not giving up on your dreams and the fact that you can make it.
And erase all the texts out your phone? I had to throw that in there, man.
And what's his name? And Joshua Powell, he was an alumni from our school. He came back to give $10,000 to the computer lab. I don't know if we ever saw it.
Yeah, man, he gave $10,000, man, but y'all still had that same laptop.
But but he gave $10,000 back to the school, and I remember him. He was coming there and he was talking to us about not giving up on our dreams and stuff like that. The only thing that really stuck with me is the fact that after he shook all of our hands, he instantly put on hand sanitizer.
Hilarious.
We were kind of offended about that. I'm still offended about that. I'm like, bro, look, we all washed our hands.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Like, man, we love y'all, little boy, man. Stop touching me now.
Yeah, it was something else, but yeah, that was that was it, man. He came, he talked about not giving up on our dreams. Josh Powell talked the most, but yeah, he came there and basically all the athletes were lit, but all of us who was like, okay, we depending on academics and getting into college. What about that? He was kind of just like, well, that's great. He was just like, yeah, that's great. Yeah, keep on doing that. Yeah, and I was like, all right, well, that was pretty much it.
Man, I think I remember seeing Goody Mod came to Cedar Grove one time. I think I was in ninth grade.
Good Mod.
Yeah, man. The Mod came by, and I ain't gonna lie, cause I don't. You know what's funny? It wasn't even the announcement. We in the gym, and all of a sudden I see a whole bunch of I just saw a whole bunch of people crowd in the middle of the court, and I was like, somebody's getting jumped. You know what I'm saying? And I was on crutches, so I had to get by the door. That is Kobe Bryant. Let me show the picture to the people.
They sitting right there. You see that Riverdale jersey right there behind him? He came to our school. I still got the picture.
He got Jeff Fisher. Is that Jeff Fisher right next to him?
I believe.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. So. Yeah.
Kobe looked like he's not finna give dap. He looked like he's not finna give dap at all. That's hilarious.
Yeah, he came to our school. Yeah,
but no, man. I think Goody Mob did come by Cedar Grove. I saw CeeLo out of the. I was like, who's better with the ball head? I was like, oh man, I can't get out that fast enough because I don't have both legs working at the moment. And plus, it's hot, so let me stay right over there. But they went by the exit where I was at, and they still didn't see me because I think they had to go. But it was random. But I remember them coming by. But we used to have these guys. That was the captain of whatever they made mistakes of. Mm-hmm. Like it was a dude named. I think I told you about this.
Yeah, before. You did. I remember that.
Man, we had a dude named Captain DUI. We had a dude named Captain STD. We had Captain. No, for real, bro. Like we had people come by to tell us what not to do, and I'm serious. They was the captain. And, we were asking stupid questions like, "Hey, what's your record?" To the point where they had to name you the captain. Hey, shut up, little boy. It just, just where you come. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't
know the question asked me. What you got?
Exactly. I said you done already told us your business, man. Yeah. You done ruined. I said we beside the cab. We finna say all the wrong stuff.
Beside the cab.
I'm serious. They brought me to the wrong spot, and then but I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I remember they took us on this field trip. You know how they do that scared straight. Mm-hmm. They at least try to take some black boys to a jail. I think that's the code. Like I think that's what everybody live by. But like, have you taken the little boys to jail yet? Oh, it's amazing. You should do it. But I went
so scared.
Yeah, man. I went in there. I remember being in with my teachers, and we was in line, and you daydream and be looking around. I made a suspect left, and then all of a sudden I'm like, "Where's my class?"
Oh man,
I'm in the middle of. I'm saying I was just sitting there. I was like, "Man, this is what she meant about pay attention." I'm finna cry now. I just went on to start crying. I seen the security guard like, "Hey, how you doing? Can you take me back to my party, please?" He said, "You out here by yourself?" I'm like, "I'd like to keep that between me and you." Like, can you take me to safety, please? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, man. Then I had one of my other homeboys. We got lost one time again the same day. I think I was just supposed to be abducted or something. But they had a dude that was a trustee that was going around. He wasn't even cuffed or nothing, but he was in uniform. He was like, "What's up with y'all?" And I'm like, nothing. And my homeboy, he was just he had the suit on. I was like, and at first, me, I don't know. I was like, somebody done broke out. This is it. Jesus, I am on the way.
We're gonna bless this man.
I am on the way. He said, "So where y'all going?" I was like, absolutely nowhere. And my friend, he was just like, "Man, y'all want some chocolate?" And I was like, first of all, wrong.
Of course.
Yeah. And my man, I ain't gonna lie to you, my homeboy, he was so clueless. He was like, "Man, I would love some chocolate." I was like, "I'm gonna kill you. You gonna get us? You gonna?"
You start making that noise.
No. He was like, "Man, he probably got some chocolate." Man, I was like, "You don't want nothing in here, man." No, man, but we got up out of there pretty safe, man. So.
Oh man.
But yeah, man, this is at the end of our show, man. Manhood mindset, man. We talked a little bit about privilege, man, and not thinking that you have to save the world just because you think you may have it better than someone else. You may be in a better situation depending on the category of your life. That doesn't mean you have a better life. You know what I mean? You may grow up in a 2-parent household and somebody else may not have, but that doesn't mean you're privileged more than them because they might have had more structure, they might have had more love, more financial support. You'd be surprised what another person had just because they don't have what you had and what it looked like that you had. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, and also too, just because some people are not as fortunate as you, you have to find that in yourself to make sure that it's not your job to go out there and save the entire world, but it is your opportunity to go out there and make it a better place. You know what I mean? And it's different. I think people with good hearts and big hearts, they try to express it through their works and actions, and sometimes they sacrifice their well-being out of goodness. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think the best thing you can do is take care of yourself as you take care of other people. You know what I mean? Respect the life that you did get. I don't necessarily say you deserve the life that you got, but you are blessed enough to recognize the life that you have. You know what I mean? So love yourself, love the life you've been given, appreciate things. And I'll tell you this one thing that I found out, that depression stems from not being thankful. A lot of times, you know what I mean? A lot of jealousy stems from looking at what other people have and ignoring what you actually have. You know what I mean? And just because someone has something that you don't have doesn't mean you're not benefiting from what you do have. So just go ahead and be thankful, be knowledgeable of what you got, understand who, your bloodline or your family. Research your family. You'd be surprised that some of the ideas that you have comes from an old great uncle that was a business owner. And it's in your blood. You just didn't know it, and that can give you the extra push that you needed to start your own business. You know what I mean? A lot of us got ancestors that was in the Army, in the armed forces. They were business owners. They were sports gurus. They were, businessmen. They were, barbers. You'd be surprised what they were. Do your own research with your family. Ask people, find the elder in your community and just sit down, go with them, spend time with them. Take them something for appreciation of their time, because they lived a long time and they don't necessarily have to spend it with you. You know what I mean? Giving you knowledge. So take something to them as a good token and just ask them to talk to you and soak up that knowledge, man. Write down what they say and try to implement it. You know what I mean? So, in the school to prison pipeline, ladies and gentlemen, it is a very strategic thing that we're dealing with. One of the things that I suggest you all to read is The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. Very in-depth book about the school to prison pipeline. And please look at the documentary called 13th on Netflix. That is going to be one of the best things that you can actually do. So, do we have any final sayings, or y'all want to speak to the people before we do? What you got new, man? Tell the people how they can support you. Then shout out your social media and all of that other good
stuff. Like I said, this is AK the Done. You hearing it from the realest. Shout out to Good Incorporated, your friendly neighborhood organization. We're here to help our people first and network. And always to the people out there, always stay humble.
For sure.
Big ups. For
sure. Big Dale, you got anything coming up? Anything people need to know about?
No, not really. As far as all your friends, if any of your friends with Mr. Pugh here, you can just go to his friends list and find me. I'm Dale, D-A-L-E, last name Arnold, A-R-N-O-L-D. It should be www.facebook.com/executive, EXECUTIVE DALE. That should be me.
Executive Dale.
Executive Dale, all together, lowercase.
What was the word?
Executive Dale. That's it.
Y'all got Snapchats, Twitters, all of that.
Snapchat, Executive Dale.
There you go. Everything Executive Dale.
At good Inc. _ for both Twitter and Instagram. Will AK _ at Twitter and Instagram. And for the next one, BSA, we got a new page. BSA GA Southern. Make sure y'all follow that on Twitter. BSA GA Southern. Expect new things coming. We got some information to reveal to y'all soon.
Got you, man. Y'all can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, same thing, and Facebook. On Twitter, Instagram is Big Chris Joker, BigChrisJoker. I had to be lame. It was lame. That was lame. It was pretty bad. But no, Instagram is
me say
exactly, man. Christopher Pugh on Facebook.com. We thank y'all so much, man. This is Manhood Mindset, and just in case if you did not understand what we're doing on this show, this is the Brother You're on My Mind campaign from Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated and the Stop the Violence campaign. What we're trying to do is make sure that we talk about issues that affect black male mental health, and if we address what's going on with black males, we will honestly change the world. So this is the fraternity's attempt to address the things that's going on in our community. And if we're about fraternal brotherhood, man, I think it's safe to say that we need to make sure that we are all right. You know what I mean? Just make sure you check on each other. Find out or reach out to somebody you haven't talked to in a while. It's a reason why you're still thinking about that person. That person probably has information that you need. So if a person just constantly keeps randomly popping up in your mind that you ain't talked to in a couple of years, shoot them a text and watch the magic happen. I promise you won't be disappointed. All right. Thank y'all so much. We're located in Statesboro, GA. We are 91.9 The Buzz, Manhood Mindset, Zany Zoo Radio. We thank you, man. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.